Good to go?
Good to go, people.
We are
good to go, Joe.
We're back. And typically for these, dude, it's so funny. Sav has been our mailbag hostess for a couple years, but she hasn't been able to make a mailbag for, I don't know when the last time she's been here, but we at least got her in for
Come on, Savvy.
The Abby podcast.
Yeah,
me and Sav recorded
nice.
one with Evan while you were on the private jet.
Oh, yeah,
Cabo?
about that. I don't know if I can... You're really making people have even more fan questions now. Like, wait, what? The hell has this guy been up to?
Dry's won so much prize money this year, he just rented a private jet to Cabo.
You know, that's just how the World Tour's been going.
Yeah, we have, well, we got a lot of fan questions.
Okay.
And I can imagine you could wager a guess as to what they're about.
It's usually not good when I'm on the hot seat, when they're all about me.
Yeah, so you're back on the hot seat. I think the last time your seat was this hot was when you dropped Trevor.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was scorching hot. This is less hot as it is. I think they're just curious.
Got it.
So we have a lot of people asking the same version of the same question. So Sandra Lemke, have Try and Chaim dropped out of the Olympic race? What's the point situation? Adam Breinholt, are Try and Chaim out of the Olympics? N. Hoveman, are Chaim and Try still pursuing an Olympic bid? Leo Keegan, are Try and Chaim still trying for Paris? So
we are not. We're pulling out of the Olympic race. There you go.
Nice and succinct.
Yeah, I mean, we basically got far enough back in it, and it was a grind. We were fighting. It was, I don't know what it looked like from the outside, but it's been an uphill battle the whole time. Stress of it, that's all part of the package that all the teams are dealing with, but also health stuff and, not being able to put the package together on the court, and then the travel and, stuff we got going on in our personal lives mixed with all that. And it was, we got far enough back in the race to where we're still in it, but we'd have to go break through these qualies still and then travel to every single event for the next 2 months and win at least 2 elites, which, we hadn't been performing to that level over the last year and a half. So we didn't want to grind out another 2 months. That's kind of like risking what seems like risking our health further, traveling, grinding, banging our head against the wall to not get the berth. So we got far enough back to where we're like, you know what, we're going to cut our losses here and move on with our lives and reevaluate. And it sucks, but that's what happens sometimes when you bite off a big challenge.
Yeah, and this is your third quad.
Mm-hmm.
Does this one feel any different than the previous two?
Yeah. They just get more painful.
Yeah.
It was like torture, like falling back in the points. It's like an identity crisis because I really believed in our ability to go out there and do what we set out to do. But it was also like this year was kind of a slow roll. Like we kind of saw the writing on the wall and it slowly slipped away with Paris and then World Champs and then the end of last year. And, we had our chance this year and we knew we could pull it off, but didn't quite get there. So it was like a slow burn. So the actual moment when we decided was actually more of a relief than anything.
That's what it felt like to me too, where when we sort of decided that we were going to stay home instead of going to China, and that we were going to just get healthy, get ready for Huntington. It just seemed like this huge weight was just lifted. It was like, oh, thank God you were thinking that too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No one wanted to say it, but once someone said it, everyone was like, wait, you too?
Yeah. No, I've learned more. Like I said, it's been hard as ever, but I've learned more than ever. And there's something to be said about that. The fact that we got to the end and we're all like, thank God it's over kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking in terms of where our goals are at and where our North Stars are at and what's driving our decisions and our actions. there's zero regret in terms of like going for it and trying to take on that challenge. But next time, if I attempt it again, I think I'll definitely want to attempt it differently in terms of like, what's my real goal? You know, is Olympics the real goal, or is it more about how I want to be and, you know, following my own values and actions and blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm realizing is like, all right, I think I did it wrong because I wasn't enjoying the process of it as much as I would have liked to. And yes, it's a grind, but like, I don't want to get to the end of it and be like, wow, that sucked. And it was, you know, I don't regret it because I love the challenge and blah, blah, blah. It was a worthy attempt. But I think I was doing it wrong. And at every quad, I have this weirdness that this piece that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
During the Olympic qualifying. And if I want to go for it again at some point, which right now I legitimately just like, why even decide that? Like, there's so much more on the table now in my life with, you know, my wife and my child, period. But also where my health's at. I'm getting an IV as we speak. Right? I have a nurse that needs to get my blood pressure, and yeah. I just sent her off. I got to think about this kind of stuff, longevity of life, health, and not just bang my head against the wall and do all this, be in this stressed out states. I have to do it for the right reasons and like learn from not just this quad, but the last two and go do it the right way. And so, yeah, everything's up in the air. It's like a whole new fresh start. And I think that's where it comes from, like that lightness that you're talking about. Like, I really believe that, like, people from the outside, especially you, probably just seeing a whole different try now that we've, like, let go of this. And I tried to let go of it the last, like, 2 tournaments, too, yeah. Right? Where it's just, like, we need to take the pressure off this and play a little more joyfully and playful, which is, like, why I love the sport. I love doing it that way. So I need to do it differently. And I'm going to try to use this AVP season to, you know, test that out. The new try, Cabo try. The new
Cabo try. So we started with Buddha try. Yeah. Now we're getting Cabo try.
Now it's Cabo. Private jets only, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it's seeing all the Olympics up close and in person, just as a coach and just as a friend to a lot of the players too. You just get such a different look at it where fans like, it's hard to really understand. It's impossible to understand.
I don't even understand it.
Yeah. Because there's so much pressure.
Yeah, and it's also like it forces you to play the game and be on the tour in a way that you don't like to be. We don't like Chase and Miles, for example, are right now in the thick of it, essentially tied with Trevor and Theo. And those 4 guys are now having to play in every single tournament, no matter where they schedule it, when they schedule it, flying ridiculous hours. Like China to Brazil is the worst trip I've ever taken in my life. And they're having to do that right now, coming off of the 6 that we've already played. And Chase and Miles were deathly sick in Guadalajara, by the way. That forfeit match was completely legit. Me and Chaim were going to forfeit, and then we saw Chase and Miles just... Like, Chase threw up on the court, just trying to show up to, like, do the signing.
Yeah.
And they're coming off that and just grinding away. And Chase has a kid at home. And, like, this is what we love to do, yes. But, like, I'm telling you, no one listening here would enjoy that whole process. It just sucks the life out of you. That much travel, that much play, that much pressure. So I think it's like the way that the World Tour is set up and how it pulls you around the world, and you're not playing, there's no like excitement. Well, at least I'm making a bunch of prize money. At least even our sponsors are like, we want you to perform AVP. I mean, obviously they want Olympics, but like the exposure they're getting during tournaments is better for AVPs anyway. So my point is just to acknowledge that as we move forward and be like, okay, World Tour is not really, and like during the Olympic process isn't built just for you to like live out your life in an enjoyable way, you know, and to enjoy that process of trying to qualify. So you really have to be careful about how you go about it. And it's I mean, we're on the buses. We talk about it all the time, trying not to be negative, but like everyone on every shuttle ride, we're all talking about how it sucks. Like they're talking about the scheduling, they're talking about the prize money, they're talking about the travel. And that's just the energy on tour. And we talk about the old prize money, and then we talk about the old player parties we used to have and how much more loose it used to be on tour. So it's a bit of an unfortunate side to things that I don't want to like really highlight right now, because like there's also beauty in everyone grinding and just like doing whatever it takes to fulfill this dream, which like Trevor, Theo, Miles, Chase, none of them have made it before. All have completely different stories in terms of how they got there. Like, this is what it's all about. Like, they're just wearing it, and two of those guys are going to be able to fulfill that dream, and it's going to be worth it. The other two are going to suffer. But there's another side to it, and I think it's worth highlighting. Probably even more after the Olympics. We've had some Travis and I have had some conversations about how we want to highlight the actual behind the scenes, and like how the Olympics affects athletes and how they feel about it after the qualification and after the Olympic Games, and how they come home, and what does that do to their psychology and their sense of purpose and all that. But we'll get into that later.
That's why, like, when we had Andy Benish on, when he just started playing with Miles, and they were starting their run, and he was talking about how he had set the Olympics as his goal, because I think it's important to set that big point to climb up to. Like, if you have a really high altitude as your goal, and if you fall short, you're still going to end up pretty high. Yeah. But Andy said, that's my goal, but I just want to play the best volleyball I can.
Well, Andy wasn't even a legitimate World Tour player at that point, right?
I forget when exactly we had him on.
His Maldives coming out with Miles, I feel like was kind of
Maldives,
like he played well. He had some wins. Him and Miles even beat me and Trev and Espino the year before. But like he wasn't like out there with expectation. He hadn't had his
coming out party yet.
There was no expectation from the rest of the world, right? And I compare it to like when I came out in Berlin with John. Zero expectation. Like I didn't even say I was going for the Olympics. Obviously, that's like the coolest thing. I started going for the Olympics once I was in the Olympic race. It was like, oh, we're in it. I guess we're going for it. Like, you know.
That's where Andy is, That's perfect
what I'm
comparison,
saying.
actually.
It's crazy when you look at the expectations. Granted, like, we're all trying not to fall into that, right? Don't stop caring what other people think. But, like, our storylines and where we're at in our careers and the expectations and the every team is just so uniquely different in this quad. Men and women. Yeah, so we talk about it all the time, and you hear it all the time. It's about the process. It's about the process. It's about the process, and it's so hard to do. But now seeing it, you just know it is what it's all about. Like, you just need to embrace every day of practice, be playful, enjoy it. Yeah. And the Olympics should be a celebration at the end instead of the thing. Yeah. Should be. But that's hard. Should's a tricky word.
It's a hard thing.
Should is a tricky word in the sports psychology world.
It is.
Because that's an expectation, right? Right. Should be fun. Now I get there. Well, why isn't this a celebration? It's supposed to be a celebration. It should be. It's tricky. I mean, it's just life, right? Like, sports is like a exaggerated version of life. Where it's like, here's a life challenge, but on a clock. And everyone's going to watch you. Go. You know, but with a scoreboard. Yep. And one of you is going to win, one of you is going to lose. Go. You're like, how are we going to deal with it? Yep. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Just
the weight of the Olympics are lifted.
Do a challenge. You either win or you fail. Figure out what you learned. Try to run it back.
Win or learn, brother.
Win or learn.
Win or learn.
Yep.
So that's that. Try and Came are just AVPing right now.
AVP in our pants.
Now, while we're still on the Olympic, we'll keep the subject international for now. W. Hollenbach, what is the likelihood of Chase and Miles beating Trevor and Theo out for the Olympics?
I'd say...
So for context,
yes.
We're recording this before the Brazil Elite. We're recording this before Miles and Chase play the Norseca Continental Finals. So the point situation could be very different.
This is post-China.
When you hear it.
Post-China.
So we're doing this right before Brazil and after China. So we don't know how the next couple of events have played out.
You can look at the results and put 2 and 2 together after this.
Yeah.
But post-China, from my perspective, and Travis knows the point situation a little better, I would say 60-40. Barely 60 in Trevor and Theo's favor.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is borderline. Like, you could easily argue that it's tied.
Yeah, I think 60-40 is a pretty good. Maybe like a 56 or 55-45.
Yeah, that feels better.
Because it's a 400-point edge after China. Chase and Miles are straight into the main draw of Brazil. And if you get a top 5, a medal, and an elite, you just explode up because the points are crazy. And then Chase and Miles are pretty much guaranteed a 720 minimum at the Continental Finals, which is either a bronze, silver, or gold equivalent at a challenge. And so they're trending in the right direction. So it's basically going to be dead even going into Stari Blanchi, Espino, and Ostrava. Mm-hmm. But it's not like Trevor and Theo can't qualify for Brazil and then pick up points. But Chase and Miles are just in a better situation. So I think it's basically going to be dead even going into the last 3 events. I would just have to give the edge, a very slight edge to Trevor and Theo. I would bet
they have the
on
lead.
them. They have the lead, which is where you want to be.
They have the lead, but Chase and Miles are in a little better position to gain points. Yeah, essentially.
So it's a toss-up.
Yeah, it's a toss-up.
It's a different race than I had anticipated at the beginning. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Who would have guessed this? Like, the expectation ranking to start things.
Yep.
What would you think it would have started as?
I put a poll before the very first event, and I had the SANDCAST listeners respond with who they thought was going to qualify, who the 2 men's teams would be.
Right.
You and Chaim were the favorites. The Taylors were number 2. Miles and Andy and Trev and Theo were like a tie for 3. And then I just had other. I didn't even include Chase and Miles in the poll.
Yeah.
And here they are. They're playing.
See why my heart hurts so much, people? I was right there with you guys. That was my same poll.
I voted for
you. No, it's impressive. It's super impressive. Because Chase usually played better AVP. Like, it kind of looked, and he had been on the World Tour long enough to where I was like, his game's not really built for World Tour. And he proved us wrong. And then Miles, obviously, like, can he sustain and have that? He's always kind of had the game. Like, he can hit, he can shoot, he can do everything. Lanky, he's fast, he's got touch. But can he put it together on the biggest stage, under the biggest pressure? And, like, those two just link together, and they're balling.
They're playing great. Yeah, so it'll be fun.
Yep.
Last couple events. LD Delco. Is Taylor Crabb going back to competing internationally? We got to have the bug back on the pod, and he can probably answer that. But for now, he's just dominating the dyno with Matza.
Yeah, I saw that. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, Taylor's going to do what... I mean, it's funny, like, we were talking about earlier, playing for the process and the love of it and all that. Like, I mean, that guy's name comes up when you think about that. And,
he's got it.
And it looks kind of rough from the outside sometimes because it's like, well, is he fulfilling his potential at the highest level? And yeah, I mean, like, is he going all in and taking on the biggest of challenges? But now that, like, I'm stepping back, I'm like, I think I need a little Taylor Crabb,
a little bug in your life,
in my life, a little bit of, balance out in that way. It's trash day apparently.
Trash day.
Should we wait it out?
You want to close it?
I'll close the door.
Yeah, and it reminds me of something that Taylor said when we had him on the podcast. he had qualified for the Tokyo Olympics, and even he talked about how this was after he qualified, that we built up the Olympics too much, and that he wants to build up the AVP and build up all the domestic events and build up everything in between the Olympics, because in reality that's our lives, are everything in between the Olympics, and especially as a player of Taylor's caliber. And so Taylor just wants to keep building the game and all the events that he loves playing, so he can keep living this ridiculously awesome life that he has. And his job is to be a professional beach volleyball player. And if you do the math,
it's not like he's leaving money on the table by not playing on the world tour.
Right. And so Taylor,
and they went for it though, to be honest. Like they were going for the Olympics. They just fell off early. Yeah, and it wasn't like they didn't try.
Yeah, and they looked at it and they made the choice to keep their sanity.
They cut their losses a lot earlier than me and Cam.
But another question further down, or if the Taylors are still playing together, and they're still playing together, as far as I know anyway. I mean, Taylor just put up a nice post of him and Sander today saying it's fun to play with your best friend. So I'd assume that Doug and Sander are still together.
Good question.
This would actually be a good one for you to answer as you're back now. S. Regley, balancing being on the world tour while having a family.
My side table's falling over. Yeah, good question. Balancing, it's tough. It's really tough. I think the greatest thing you can, at least that I'm thinking, for me, the greatest way that I can be a good parent or father is just giving my daughter attention. Not like in a helicopter parent way, but like literally just giving her my attention. I don't have to do anything, but like being there for her, right? And so that's the hardest part, is literally just not being there and seeing her adapt to her life and figuring out ways to feel safe and get what she needs without me there. And then I come back and I see how she's adapted and like, oh, she relies on mom for all this stuff and grandma or whatever, and and that sucks. I mean, it sucks because you want to fill that role and like make sure you're doing a good job of it. And then obviously like, you're stressed out, losing sleep, missing home, and your mind goes to all the negative things about what you're missing out on and all that. But there's a flip side to it. It's cool to have a dad that's a professional athlete and travels the world. And I talked to Mel from Canada at one point, and her dad was a pro athlete. And she's like, when I look back on it, it was like the coolest thing ever. Like I loved him coming back from trips and telling me about it and blah, blah. So I was like, oh, that actually feels good.
Yeah.
To hear. But it's hard. And then, you have losses, or like you've already traveled to these places and like, something else negative happens, or you're hurting or whatever. And it's even more like you keep questioning why am I here now? I don't is this worth it? Is the sacrifice worth what I'm trying to do? So I think that's the biggest challenge, is just like making sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and that it's not stressing you out too much. But also I think it's important to listen to your kid. Like, even though my daughter's only 4, to actually like ask her like, hey, how are you feeling about me leaving? And I got to leave again. And like actually listening and like taking that into consideration, I think is really important. Like earlier in the season, I was asking her and she was like, yeah, go, like basically telling me to go. And it's funny, like you don't actually think you're going to like change based on what she says, but I was like, that makes me feel a lot better. She's like, go play, I'm going to cheer on TV kind of thing.
Yeah. And
so I was like, okay, that's cool. And then recently came back and she's like, no, don't go. Like fully like telling me to stop. I was like, that's kind of what I needed to hear too. Like, I don't, if you want me to stay, I'll stay. And then, that's when we made the decision too. So it was like, actually felt really good. I don't know. It's just another, you change the filter of your life, right? All your decisions and stuff are going through multiple things now. And like, mostly it needs to be filtering through like what's best for your family. and then your health and all that is like, if I'm beating myself up and I'm coming home with headaches and like always hurt and risking my health with the autoimmune stuff, now I'm like risking the health of her dad, you know, and taking her dad away from her in that way, like a healthy, energized dad who can go out and like skateboard or go to the park and like do all these fun things versus like, oh, I can't move, like go watch TV or something. I don't know. I guess the hardest part is having all that in your head while trying to go out there and perform. And, but as long as your family's on board with what you're doing and you're super honest about it, like honest with the wife and the daughter, and it's like, hey, this is our thing, right? Like, I'm not leaving and doing this for me, right? If they're on board, they're like, no, we agreed as a family, like this is how we're attacking it, and we need you to go be focused and perform, then you're good.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the family on board, you don't have the most important things lined up and like filtering it through family and daughter and your health first before you make these decisions, I mean, that's when I think life gets scrambled and you're going to get lost. And the body, in my experience, will make you pay.
It will rebel when the body and mind are not aligned.
Yeah.
You don't have this emotional, mental, and physical all on the same page. Something bad happens.
Something bad happens, and I've seen it too many times now. So listen to your body.
Yeah.
And your family.
And your kids.
And your kids.
Well, Michael Gervais, he said something really interesting about, because he obviously has high performer after high performer on Finding Mastery, and he was talking to Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll's got a couple kids, and he asked him how he manages the work-life balance with family, and he said, when you're in a position like mine, you can't really I can't just be at home all the time.
Right.
Like I have a pretty high stakes job where I need to perform. So I bring my family into work. So at the Seahawks, they had like a family day where all the kids and families of the players would come in.
His son's on the staff.
Is he?
He coaches for the Seahawks, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I went to college with him.
So now he really is on it. Now he's really bring your kid to school to work day. But he would just bring his kids there and his family. And you've kind of done that in a way where Naya comes out to practice a lot and Gab will swing by. And you were going to bring Gab and Naya out to Poland if we were going to do Star Jablonki. Mm-hmm. And so you're able to do that, which is helpful that not a lot of people can do. And another thing that I think, and maybe Mel saw this as well in retrospect, is that when you're a professional athlete and you're striving, or just you're striving in any endeavor, you're setting an example for your kid that I just have this made up life of a professional beach volleyball player, and this is what it takes. Like you're setting an example for Nye. Like if you want what you want, you can have it. This is what it's going to take. There's trade-offs, but you can get after it if you want, which I think is a powerful thing to do.
And then is your kid going to look at her childhood and be like, I didn't really like that. I'm going to do the opposite.
Right.
You know, because that's kind of what kids do, right? You either like, I like that my parents did that, so I'm going to be like that. I hated that they did that, so I'm going to be the opposite. I just don't want it to be a negative thing, you know, when it's all said and done. And I think we underestimate how much you can listen to like a little kid. Because really, like, we're the ones with so much going on in our heads that it's hard for us to even give ourselves genuine answers, whereas a kid's just like, we'll straight up say it. Just
real simple.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like I should ask you about more things, actually. Like, let you make a lot more decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So from A. Stempy 25, who are the sleepers for gold in Paris on the men's and the women's sides?
Ooh, sleepers.
So I'm going to bring up the rankings, and so I'll just set kind of a rule that for it to be a sleeper, they have to be outside the top 6.
Yeah, that's fair.
Outside the top 6.
Top 5's good for me, but sure, 6.
Okay, so can't pick Amon Helvig. Can't pick Anderson Christian. Ehlers Vikler are number 3. You can't pick the Czechs. They're world champs. You can't. That's not a sleeper. And then the Andre and George and Kodafava Nikolai. Anyone else is free game to be a sleeper.
Okay.
Which would include Evandro Arthur, Brouwer Musin, Benish Partain, Spain, Trev, Theo, / Chase and Miles, depending who makes it in. Adrian and Rangieri, Brill and Wojciak.
Ooh, Brill.
Hodges, Schubert, Bormans, DeGroot.
Ooh.
And the last team, Sharif and Ahmed.
Ooh.
And the last team currently in Cuba. And then Horl and Horst.
Brill and Bormans.
Those would be your sleepers to medal.
Yeah.
Those are just
but
two
are they
big
also,
picks.
They don't have their 12 finishes, so
Not
that's
yet,
why they're not in their top.
Yeah. But their average per event, they'll probably be kind of like top, they'll be between 5 and 10.
Yeah, got it.
I'm so impressed with Arthur. I get a little worried with Evandro because they're so reliant on his serve.
Yeah.
But their side out's so strong.
Yeah.
Tough to say. I can't pick Spain.
And then Arthur hasn't done that much yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's my pick.
I'd go if I had to pick one sleeper for the men to win gold, I'd go with Bormans de Groot. Those are my guys.
They're just the quality that they've put on there when they're on the sand is
their performance in Doha was insane.
Yeah.
And then they had to forfeit out of Topeka. Food got them.
They have the worst luck or something, right?
They have the worst luck. And they brought their own chef to Mexico, too. On the women's side, you cannot pick Anna Patricia Duda. Can't pick Kristen Tarrant. Can't pick Kelly Sarah. Cannot pick Barbara Carroll. And you cannot pick Melon Brandy.
Oh, I wanted to pick them.
Everyone else can be a sleeper. So your sleeper candidates are Raisa Scone, Katja Stam, Nina Brunner, Tanya Huberly, Valentina Gottardi, Marta Menegatti, Shinyi Xia, Chen Xu, Tina and Anastasia, Savenya Mueller, Sinya Tillman, Ludwig and Littman, either Anouk or Zoe, whoever makes it in, Daniela Alvarez, Tanya Moreno, Maria Faye and Taliqua.
Ooh, are they that far back? They just don't have their 12.
They just need 2 more finishes. Lezana Placet, Alexia Richard, Lithuania. Love them. And either Pavin and Molly or Sophie Heather. Oof. My sleeper to win would be Shinyi Xia and Chen Xu. But sleeper to medal, I mean, you can't bet. I have a firm rule that I don't bet against goats. I'll never bet against Laura Ludwig.
Dude, seriously, I could see her just because her partner's a beast.
Yeah.
I could see Ludwig stepping up at the right moment with that swag.
Yeah. And when we say beast, we mean that in the most complimentary of ways.
Oh, 100%.
So everyone knows.
For sure. But, she's only getting better.
Yeah. And fast.
And Ludwig's kind of finding that swag.
And I should mention, they're not guaranteed to make it in because Carla Borger and Sandra Itlinger are hot on their tails.
Yeah.
So they're not guaranteed to make it in. But if Laura and Louisa do make it in...
It's just the Ludwig effect.
Yeah.
The energy. She pulls you towards them.
Yeah.
I mean, Aussies, they did so well in the last one. They proved that they can perform on that stage, and then they didn't win it. So it's like they're not fully satisfied.
Yeah.
So they could be real hungry to pull that off.
All right, so you're picking the Aussies?
I want to say one of the Swiss, too, because they're going to be hungry.
Nina and Tanya look freaking good.
Uh-huh. But, yeah, Nina and Tanya could be the other one.
Yeah, and them getting that first win, you break that psychological barrier, winning begets winning.
But also, Anouk and Joanna were on the podium last time. They're like, this is our time. Now they prove to themselves that they can win it. It's momentum's building a bit there.
The whole Swiss Federation, dude.
I would say the
Virgin
Dupre sisters, both their teams have a chance to make a run. But, they might just be so burnt out by the time that this battle's over.
Well, I'm wondering if it could almost produce the opposite effect where you qualify and you just have this relief.
Right.
And then you just get to do the thing.
Yeah, I feel like that's more the guy's side of thing.
Yeah, maybe. I can't pretend to know the psychology.
I mean, it's hard to show up to the Olympics and just be like, let's just have fun. You know?
Yeah.
But it does work sometimes, like Dane Blanton and
just
Fanoy. That's what Dane
whatever.
said. Let's just go have fun.
Yeah. Everyone was like, take your pictures, enjoy it. Yeah. Oh, gold medal.
I wish I was in that situation. I can't believe Andy and Miles got so. Their honeymoon phase could not have been timed any better. And they're just watching all the veterans behind them just grovel while they just sit around and do nothing with no pressure on. They can choose how they want to go into the Olympics, how they want to be like, all right, we'll just screw it for getting hot for one season, which completely they earn. But I'm sitting here you guys gotta be kidding me. That's how easy it is for you guys.
I mean, when you go back to back elite medals.
Oh, they proved that. I mean, 100% proved it. But the grind is triple what they had to endure.
Yeah, and think about the reward that Trevor and Theo got for being hot for one tournament. Right. They survive world champs. If they lose that pool play match to George and Andre, they'd be in the same boat, if not a little worse than you and Chaim.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, their world champs was a 1,400-point finish that they barely survived getting out of pool, and then that set them up to be straight in the main draws this whole year. It's crazy.
I'm not gonna be able to go to Paris for
one match can change so much.
Oh, for sure.
It's the whole race changed.
Yeah. I'm not even be able to eat croissants for 10 years after my Roland Garros experience, and then I'm actually curious how I'm going to watch the Olympics.
If you're going to watch,
if I'm going to watch, it's going to be all based on feel.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it. If Trev's there, I'm gonna fully cheer for him for sure.
Oh yeah,
I'm just gonna put my outrigger baby card hat on. Yeah. We're doing it. I just start claiming the Hawaii boys. Then it feels like I'm involved. Hawaii boys are killing it. Let's go.
We'll stick on a couple more internationals, then we'll move to AVP. Stefan Borman's asked a couple questions that I'll get to on the next road to Paris. They're good questions about the continental qualifying system. But Merrick's is asking about the challenge system and how to fix the forfeit issues. And then Crystal Eva followed up with, is the FIVB reacting to the challenge forfeits because of the format?
Is it an issue, though? I kind of yes, it is. But I kind of like getting a free forfeit, match off that evening. This is a guy coming out of all the qualies. I'm like, please,
give me a match off.
Give me a match off.
Yeah. Well, I met
it's a problem.
So I met a couple fans at an OXXO in Guadalajara, and they had come down to watch, I think, 2 days.
Yeah.
And they were so bummed that and Guadalajara was the most player unity I've seen. It's some of the most unity I've seen from, can you imagine uniting that many cultures?
Right.
As well as the FIVB has united the players to forfeit that second round.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. You'd be an idiot to play, kind of, right?
Yeah, so there's the situations where, let's just give a rundown of why the forfeits are happening. So in a 2014 modified pool play, if you win your first round, your next match, you will start the playoff rounds regardless of your result, win or lose, of that second round match in the 9th place rounds of the playoffs. On paper, it makes sense for seeding purposes to win because technically you will get a third seed coming out of pool, but the tour is so deep now, and you get guys like Evandro and Arthur who will lose their first round in Recife, and you say, okay, well, it's actually advantageous for me to be the 2 instead of the 1 because then I cannot play Evandro and Arthur, or like George and Andre and Sakurima, they lose their first round. You don't want to get them in the first round. We ended up getting them the lucky loser. George and Andre just dust everyone on their way to the finals. So there's no real incentive to win that match, which would make it no real incentive to play, especially if you come out of a qualifier, especially if you're hurt, which pretty much everyone has some sort of nagging injury.
Yeah, you don't play for free, put it that way.
Right.
You're not just going to go out there. Every single rep we get on the World Tour is with intention. And you're not just going to risk getting injured and making yourself more tired for no reason.
Right.
Unless you're a young team who literally is out there to get reps and get experience on the World Tour, sure, They're going to show up and play and hope the team doesn't forfeit or hope that they do, and then, woo, free win for a young team.
It's like a James Shaw, Jordan Hoppe. They win their first round of pool in Xiamen. Makes total sense for them to play. Yeah. They've never played at that level before. Get your reps. Haley Harward, Kylie DeBerg, get your reps, play. Young teams looking for experience, but for a team like you and Chaim, you have decades of experience on tour. And then especially because those matches a lot of times will be at night, and you get the adrenaline. Now you're not falling asleep till 3.
Yeah.
Your sleep's jacked up. So it doesn't make any sense because your job at a tournament is to win the tournament and to perform as well as you can. And playing that second match, if you think it would hinder your ability to win in playoffs, you shouldn't play the match.
Yeah.
And so what can they do? I don't know. There just needs to be a way to incentivize that second round. And
we used to do it with the old system too, where it was all based on points.
Right.
And if we knew we wouldn't get eliminated no matter what, based on the result of the next match, when we all played pool play and you play everyone all around, and it was all based on point ratios. We'd all do the math, and teams would be forfeiting like that.
You know what? Where you don't see forfeits? Double limbs. Forfeits will have an immediate consequence where you only get one more loss.
Mm-hmm. So, and you have to play more matches to get to the final.
Right.
So you'd never do that.
Yeah. So double limbs are super pure, and people always pick pool play over double limb because there's a handful less matches in pool play. But shoot, I'm just such a double limb purist.
Well, the draws are smaller nowadays anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like an Elite 16, they run it over the course of 5 days. A 16-team double limb, you can do that.
That's fine.
You can do that and play. You could run a 32-team double limb in 4 days.
Yeah. And you could still use your 2 courts probably.
Yeah. But they can't, they're stuck in the system. They can't change it until after the Paris Olympics because once the Olympic qualifying period started, you can't change the widths of the field. So
It'll change because FIVB already reached out and said, it's not within the fair... whatever. What did they say?
Something about the manipulation of games.
Yeah, like we got to play for the right reasons, guys. Come on. And we're all just like, we're not playing for no reason,
dude. And it sucks for the players because, and it sucks for the promoter because the promoter is beholden to the system and the system's sort of broken. And so the players don't want to hurt the promoters, but you also don't want to play matches.
Well, you're also not incentivized to work for, everyone says, like, you guys are sole proprietors. Make sure you know that. You don't work for us. It's like, okay. Then everything we do is going to be based on us working for ourselves and figuring out how to get our goals done.
How can we have the
if
best
you want us to play more, pay us to play. Or something, right?
Yeah.
You're not even paying us to play. You're just lucky that the Olympics happened to grab our sport because no one would be playing. The tour would look completely different right now.
It'd be an interesting landscape.
If you didn't have the Olympics, which FIVB, that fell right into your lap. That's not you coughing up and making a good product. Anyway.
Yeah, so hopefully the system will change. I don't know what it'll look like, but at the end of the day, once the matches have an incentive, and like Dry said, this isn't the first system where that's happened, where when you have matches where there's no incentive to win or even an incentive to lose, you're going to get forfeits. This is a funny one. This will be our last one. This is from Dak Bear. I'll just answer this quick. Is it fair for the Brazilian MC to rally the crowd behind the home team? Absolutely. And it's awesome.
It's not fair. It's absolute home court advantage. And like in any sport, teams should have home court advantage. Granted, not all the countries get to host events in this tour, so it's not fair. But yeah, I mean, that's also the greatest. That, like, my favorite match of the whole season by far is playing Stadium Evandro on the stadium with all of them cheering against us. That's what we live for. Like, that's why I'm on tour.
Yeah. To
go play those matches. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Fire them up. I love it.
I love the Brazzies.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to move our focus from international to the AVP. So Big Bear Adams, Brick G, Globaw, and Acmo09, all asking the same version, the same question. New partnerships for the AVP. I think it's mostly the same.
Well, we can't have many breakups right now because the top 5 or whatever are pretty locked in.
Yeah. So I have the AVP rankings in front of me. So we got Miles Partain, Andy Benish, the same. Trevor Crabb, Theo Brunner, Chase Budinger, Miles Evans, Taylor, Chaim, Avery Jost, Phil Dahlhauser, I believe are still the same. Billy Allen, Troy Field.
Oh, is that it?
Or no. It's Billy. I don't know who Billy's playing with, actually, because Troy's back with Tim Baumgren.
Ooh, that's a good team.
Allison and Evan Corey.
There you go, people.
That's a good team.
A fun one.
I like that one. Logan Weber and Hagen Smith. Sean Cook, Cody Caldwell. Kyle Friend, Tim Brewster. Leela Tucker is with Jake Dietrich. And then from there, I don't know. Chase Frischman's with Bill Kolinsky. I've seen Lev Prima out with Dylan Merrick. What's so funny is that so these lists are pretty imperfect because I'm not even on the rankings anymore. They saw that I switched to coach, and they're like, all right, he's out.
There'll be some quality teams that crack through, right? Like Shaw and Hoppy should crack
James
through.
Shaw, Jordan Hoppy. I like that squad.
Wyzorek, and I saw Wyzorek and Zephyr out there today.
Yeah, that's a USA Dev squad right there.
I don't know if that's a real team, but I saw him out there today.
Yeah, Big Dave, he's getting good pretty fast. I love Zephyr, love his game. He works hard, so I think that he'll break through. I don't know who Wyatt Harrison is going to play with on the AVP because Evan's going to go with Allison. And then you get into, don't know about Jeff Samuels, Rafi Paulus, the Basie brothers. Not sure on all those guys. But so most of the main teams are the same. And then on the women, let's see what we got. I don't know of any partnership changes on the women's side either. April and Alex are back.
Yep.
Kristen Taryn, I think, will be together till they're 60. Syracuse, Kelly Chang, Mel Brandy, Betsy Julia. Therese is still with Megan Kraft. I'm interested to see if Sponsor comes back and plays AVP.
She was.
Yeah, I don't know when the
I saw her
PVF
ball out
season
there today.
That's Therese. She got the balls in the divorce.
Got it. I saw a sponsor ball. I was like, I wonder what she's doing.
Therese has sniped the SS balls.
Got it.
Kelly Kalinsky having a baby. She's out. Haley Harward and Kylie DeBerg. Stockman is now a boxer. $1 million baby.
That is not a joke.
That's not a joke.
I saw her recently. She's stoked.
I saw her running down the Strand.
Shredded as ever.
I wouldn't want to fight Emily Stockman.
No,
Get me out of there.
I'm not fighting anyone.
Sav, our partner, she is with Abby Van Winkle. Don't know about Brooke Bauer. I don't know if Pavin's going to play. Megan Rice, I'm not sure. Deanna Kraft is with Lexi Denneberg, who, congratulations to her, just became the winningest player of all time at UCLA.
Whoa.
Which is no joke.
That is not a joke.
Zana is with Emily Day.
Whoa.
So that's a good team. Corinne and Skirm, I think, are staying together. And Tegan Van Gunst, Kim Hildreth. Molly Turner's with Chloe Lorene, who I think is going to be really good. That's a team to watch. And then from there on out, Delaney Mewhirter, still partnered with Austin.
Joanna, man.
And then we get down to the once you get past like your top 6 teams.
The girls are so deep though. You keep naming good names. I'm like, whoa. I'm
at number 50. And we're down at like the Avery Papingas.
Right.
Who are like legit.
Yeah.
And Brooke Sweat, 62.
Yeah. Jeez.
So yeah. No real breaking new partnerships, I don't think.
Well, there you
go. Yeah. Jesse Erickson are the Taylor splitting. No. Big Bear Adams. Do you think we will have a real heavyweight team like the Phil and Todd rise on the men's side of the AVP? I mean, I feel like Miles and Andy got that was a pretty big heavyweight summer they had
last year.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And they became.
Well, he's talking about AVP probably more so, right?
I mean, AVP, they win, They won 2 out of 3?
I don't even remember. Did I block the season out?
I think Andy Miles lost.
They lost Chicago.
One match the whole AVP season. They lost 2 matches the whole AVP season, so that's pretty damn good. You guys beat them in Huntington, but then lost to him in the finals.
Right.
and then Trev and Theo.
Well, what happened in Manhattan? Did they not play?
They didn't play. They were in.
Oh right, they won Stad or
Hamburg.
something. Oh, Hamburg. Oh, okay. So they just didn't play that much.
Yeah, they won Atlanta. They won Huntington. Second in Chicago.
Yeah. No, that would be the closest. The team that's showing that they have the potential to do that the most, for sure.
Yeah. So that's our AVP fan questions. How's our time?
50.
Nice. We'll do a couple more. So we'll get into some fun stuff.
Yeah.
This is from a guy named Fredo. Weird name.
Weirdo.
Was it helpful having Fredo on the road?
Wow, Fredo.
Little narcissist.
I mean, it was helpful just in having another friend on the road, just to hang out. Guadalajara was a good time, actually.
It was a great time.
We somehow flipped the energy. We brought Fredo out. I mean, we've had good energy all year. Sakurama was good. It's been nice having our guy here, our caddy. Travis brings caddy vibes.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't freak out. We're good.
Everyone's take
Try this club. I mean, besides the fun factor, it was fun seeing SANDCAST expand and like what we're capable of doing and how the players reacted to it. So yeah, there's your compliment, Fredo, that you're looking for. But it was cool because SANDCAST is growing, and we really like see how it's impacting or impacting players and fans internationally as well. And we're also seeing the World Tour have some interest in what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, so you might be seeing a lot more Fredo on the World Tour, everyone. So be on the lookout for that. Mr. Quintus, favorite fish to eat and how do you cook it?
Whoa. What a great question.
Yeah, you got some brand new toys back there.
Yeah, so like I'm a rookie. If you're a professional barbecuer, I'm still a rookie, so... But I've always liked mahi. It's really
Mahi's good.
It just feels like I'm taking the easy way out there because mahi's just solid.
I wouldn't have thought of it, though. I feel like tuna and salmon are the easy way out.
Yeah. Salmon's...
Have you ever made
definitely
mahi?
The easy way out. Yeah, I made it.
Oh, I've never
There's
made
like this like lemony mayo dressing that you can use. It's not like a tartar.
Yeah.
But like, I've gotten some fresh mahi straight off the boat too, and it's like easy to cook.
Love mahi.
Grill it. Now I have that new smoker box in my grill, so now I can throw a little flavor in there too, a little hickory, a little cherry, a little mesquite.
And that's what Evan...
A little apple tree.
You were in doing the Cabo life, but when we had Evan on, he said that his favorite pre-tournament meal now is fish.
Oh yeah.
Which I would have thought that would be too light to eat before a competition.
Oh, fish is great. Lean, pure protein, good omegas.
I've always just been a big steak guy.
Steaks, it takes too much energy to digest for me. If I go too much, if I eat too much of it, it's like my body's working all night and I wake up a little tired.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people get that effect, but it's not for me. But I also... The tournaments I play are a lot different than the ones you do, where I got to play like 6 matches. I need the calories.
Right.
Fish, I would burn through fish like newspaper.
Yeah, that's fair.
But my fish would be salmon, and just put it on a pan, olive oil, salt, 4 minutes on one side, 2.5 on the other.
I need to explore a little more.
I
need to broaden my fish horizons.
Yeah, and then you can't go wrong with a good poke.
I mean, I'll just eat sashimi. If you give me any fish to eat, just
just
raw ahi, shoyu, wasabi, game over.
Bam. So you let us know, Mr. Quintus. Let's see. This is always... we'll keep it on the nutrition train, actually. Root and Fruit Nutrition. Worked with Evan Corey. What does training and recovery look like traveling on the FIVB? We'll keep that on We'll keep it on the nutrition side.
How's the salads, Travis?
Don't eat salads in Brazil.
You know what you guys got to eat on the road? This little thing called athletic greens. Travis, you tell them how we do it on the road.
Yeah, so it's the road is an interesting place for recovery. because there's a lot of things you can eat on the road, and there's a lot of things that you can't eat. So if you go to Mexico, Brazil, China, places where the water's pretty sketch, do not eat vegetables. My last day in Saquarema was great. All the food was so good. And me and Tri had the salmon at this restaurant one day, and then the last place we ate had salmon, and it's very topical because Mr. Quin just asked us about fish. So I ordered the salmon that comes with a side salad, and I didn't think twice, eat the salad, and for the next week I was crushed by that salad. So we stay away from salads, and basically on the road, like I'll use Recife as an example. Once you find your restaurant, your cafe, you go there every single day, and a lot of times you pretty much just order the same thing, because once you find something that is safe to eat, good to eat, hopefully relatively affordable to eat, you stick with your home base. Unless, of course, you got Brooke Sweat on the road with you, and then you can take her recommendations because she's been everywhere, and she'll take you to a nice Brazilian steakhouse, which is also good to eat.
Yeah, so imagine if you're in Paris or something, you're eating amazing.
Yeah,
it just depends on where you're at in the world. So like when we tell you about Athletic Greens and stuff, like we travel with many of those packets because we're like, you know what, we're going to skip these salads, which like we want to get those nutrients, but like we're just going to get it through our AG1.
Yeah.
Cooked vegetables is usually fine.
Yeah, but now I stay away.
You don't want any vegetables.
I don't want any. But Miles, like you look at Miles Evans and see the picture that he puts up before he goes to China. I mean, it looks like he's going on a military trip for 3 months. Yeah. It's just meals ready to eat.
Camping
food.
Camping food.
Yeah.
Like just straight REI food. We bring it in bags. And that's how you're trying to perform.
Yeah.
It's mostly backup, but it comes in handy and you definitely eat it.
And then, of course, everyone has a snack corner.
Yeah, Travis has been good with that. Yeah. He hits up Trader Joe's before we go and just sets up a snack corner for the team.
We got our nuts. We got our urban olive mixed nuts. Then we got our granola. We got our bars. We're good. We're snacking.
I definitely threw down some specialty meals here and there on the road. Made homemade acai one day.
No, bro, your
my
oatmeal
coconut
pancakes.
Oatmeal pancakes, yep.
They hit
those. What about my coconut chia pudding?
Oh.
The papayas and the coconuts in Brazil.
Dude, I forgot about the chia pudding. I just started making that. That was so good.
It's pretty easy.
Thanks for the reminder.
Anyway, that's what we do, people.
All right, we're going to do 2 more questions, and then we're both on dinner duty tonight. This Kenny loves you. Name a young, up-and-coming player you would love to play a tournament with.
Ryan Wilcox.
Introduce him.
Travis didn't know who Ryan Wilcox was, and there's pretty much no player on the face of the earth that Travis doesn't know, and I do know. But he's like I don't want to set the bar too high for the guy. I don't even know what his plans are if he wants to play, but he's like a second coming of Taylor Crabb in some ways, the way he moves.
Ryan Wilcox,
So
Crabb
I'm
Jr.
I'm not trying to set that bar for you, Ryan. But it's a Hawaii boy, Punahou guy, kind of had the similar career as Taylor indoors, but like built for the beach a bit. So we'll see. You'll see the name.
So Ryan Wilcox. We've mentioned him a couple times. I'd go with Zephyr Dew.
Zephyr.
I like Zephyr a lot.
I like Zephyr too.
Yeah, just because I've seen him at a dozen CBVAs. He just plays everything. He's out there practicing. Every time I've been at the USA gym, he's been there grinding. Every time I've walked down the Strand, he's been there practicing.
Super competitive.
Very, yeah.
You can tell, like, at a young age, like, he wants to go at anyone and everyone that will take a crack.
Yeah.
Let him take a crack.
Big Zephyr fan. Yeah. And Jordan Hoppy would get honorable mention for
I like
that.
Jordan as well.
And then we'll end this fan question episode with a fun one that you'll enjoy. From S. Regley, will the SANDCAST tour come to Canada? Toronto, maybe?
Hey, you tell me.
Yeah.
We're available. Absolutely willing to cross borders. I heard the Canadian border's not that hard to get across. We're down. Just holler at us.
Yeah.
We're putting this thing together.
Would love to. Yeah, well, we got our first stop in Montana, end of June. Shout out to Libby Schneider / Libby Sanchez. Love the Sanchez family. And that's going to be kind of our test event. Feel it out. We're going to have a lot of content coming out of it. And then if anyone actually wants to host a SANDCAST event, shoot me an email, travis@sandcastvolleyball.com, and we will go to any place. People in Texas, Kansas City, North Carolina have all expressed interest. So if you have a complex, if you know someone, we want to get out. We just want to uncover all these little pockets of beach volleyball magic and put a spotlight on the community. Fredo's coming on the road with us everywhere we go. We got 2 videographers, actually, just because we just want to go to all the little spots.
Yeah, we're going to try to do it right, do it proper. And even if you don't have the connection there, like, what's your favorite? Like, if you guys give us feedback about what's your favorite beach volleyball hotspot in the world or in the country, and you want us to highlight it and go there and experience the community, culture, people, the facility, whatever they have, let us know. We're taking all recommendations. We're trying to find the best spots around the country.
And he's home now. We're both home. It's time to do some fun stuff. Playful Try's back. Cabo Try.
Cabo Try.
Cabo Try's in business.
Who wants me?
All right, brother. Well, welcome back from your Cabo vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Playful Try is back. And next tournament for the boys, AVP Huntington.
Yes, sir.
Let's ride.
Let's go.
Shoots.